What have your first impressions been from watching it, or from just generally, the litmus test of how this map comes in?
I mean, I think that A is still kind of weird to me. Like so many narrow corridors, I feel like it makes it really unapproachable. That's just kind of like the vibe I've gotten from just looking at the layout and watching a couple of games. B definitely seems to be pretty neat. I like the way the mid set up with like the cat drop and the other connector side and just kind of all the different ways that mid can come into play. But I feel like it sets up for things like we're seeing here where teams can just play fast if that's kind of their style, which and Bravos in the interview said they would be doing this, and well, here they are.
Men of their word, Bravos pushing straight in, but that's Pank, who swats away 2 players. A bit of a scrappy engagement now, though, as the CTs actually get re-aggression back onto Bravos. And, well, you can be as aggressive as you want, thus, but if you just run into a barrage of bullets, it's going to be short-lived. You just end up losing real quick.
I mean, just like their coach said, though, in the interview, they'd be doing a lot of ramp rushing on that B site. And, well, they did deliver. But unfortunately for them, they were greeted by the welcome wagon of Sharks. And, well, Sharks, I feel like they're not a very welcoming creature, Vince. You know, typically you come in their space, especially if you get a little blood in the water, they're going to ravage you.
Oh, they certainly will. Can sense that weakness, and it wasn't the greatest of pistol rounds.
I guess Bravos is supposed to be kind of like a Spartan warrior or something like that, kind of is their mascot, while Sharks is a shark. I mean, you would think on land, a shark's losing that fight 10 out of 10 times. But I guess, Ancient finding some way to provide water for shark. I don't know where I was going with that. I'm going to be real. I'm going to go ahead and evacuate out of this. I think it's best if I pull the plug. You know how they say quit while you're still ahead? Well, I wasn't even ahead, but I might as well stop before I get further behind.
Well, Bravos.
What is this stack, by the way?
They're hoping someone pushes in. It's not quite like a Strala stack on Inferno levels, because obviously you're on the CT side in that case, but they're hoping that maybe Sharks tries to get around the back and they can just neutralize one with this stack up. And it's just not happening, is it? I mean, there's no reason for Sharks to push. They have all the advantages. They have all the chips on the table. And to make matters worse, well, Wood's just been shanked in the back. So, and that's given sound Q away to Zevi. Oh, it's just horribly, horribly gone wrong, hasn't it? Oh, jeez. So 2-0 quickly to Sharks, and Bravos, try as they may with their interesting stack. The shank in the back pretty much just wrecked everything. However, they do have AKs now, so ready to jump back in the way of see if the T's have anything up their sleeve.
So here we go into the next round. Sharks looking to try to keep up the winning ways. We are going to see Brazos looking for the full-on mid control. They have left Wood over towards the B ramp, so the rest are looking to kind of press into that top mid-house position, maybe even start attacking into Donut here, as we are going to see Leo lead the way. Does push one of the CTs back on the site. That's JNT. He finds the entry, will smoke off over towards Elbow and start allowing the hit, but Zevi, he was kind of lurking up top in the boosted position, rains down with a couple of MP9 kills and gets him into a 4-on-3 on the CT side.
Yeah, Zevi's also laid in wait here up close on the main side. Easy spray, easy bomb drop. And it's a bonus round for Sharks, and it's looking fantastic. Now, Joda is going to put this back into the realms of possibility, make this a little bit more costly for the CTs, but they have tons of cash to go back into, plus AKs littered around the map. So if they can survive with these last 3 players, I mean, Sharks have just got a massive boost to their economy.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Zevi makes a big play there with that MP9 and kind of takes a situation that was looking maybe a bit dangerous with Leo's entry and has completely turned it on its head, leaving Joda and Wood in a tough spot here. They're separated on both ends of A main and A short, trying to still see if they can find a way to break through this temple hold, but Zevi's on for the ace, Vince.
Yeah, on for the ace, and Wood, only 6 ADR, could maybe finish off the weakened Zevi. But with 5 seconds left, they can play Ring Around the Temple. Even though the frag comes in, he will at least die before time, so it doesn't get completely wrecked economically. But considering how much Sharks had on the table there, in terms of having a bonus round, that is such a huge W for the CTs.
Can we give +1 respect to Real right there? I'm pretty sure he folded away to allow Zevi a chance at the ace. I
Good
feel
lad.
like Rio probably could have shut that down, but I think he played a little coy there and gave Zevi a shot. But Zevi obviously with low HP, a little bit tougher to take a labored battle. Does go down, but victory still for Sharks. It's still a big round for Zevi. He's onto the AWP now. Meanwhile, Brazos, well, they're on pistols, but they found an entry vents and they're moving fast.
Yeah, and they kind of have to. They have to do this run and gun, especially when you're this far behind. They have their hands on the AWP as well, Danoko. That is a big piece of weaponry that trades hands and a key aspect of the map. They have middle control. Pushing in Jota with the Tech 9 at this kind of a range, it can be a real nightmare. So yes, they're still behind in this round. They still have the disadvantageous position, and there's also a flank from Luca around the back of the spawn. But
you feel like
Bravo's
that has to come up with
in a chance. Yeah, it has to get a kill or two. And judging where the bomb is here, you know, Dust, if he takes down this bomb carrier, that could be the determining factor. They're about to run head to head. Bomb's been spilled down. Smoke comes out, but he's going to get rushed down. That's been neutralized.
Yeah, I really feel like he should just kept the gun out there, Vince. I don't think the smoke deploy was worth it there. And now Jota, who's still been holding his top middle position, gets the tee off with that Tech 9. 2 big kills onto Reelson and Pank, leaving J&T all alone. He does have the AUG, but he's up against now 3 fully geared out Ts. Does find Wood, but does get shot in the back in a very quick retaliation from Jota. And that's a big win for Bravos. And it comes in a way that you wouldn't have expected. I mean, that's the round that they should ultimately lose. If you're Sharks, I mean, you're tasting that blood in the water. You feel like this is your chance to really pounce and build up that CT slot, and they get shut down a little bit earlier than expected. That is a tough pill to swallow for them, I imagine. Although I don't think Sharks do a lot of swallowing pills.
No, very unlikely. Unless it's maybe in someone's pocket as they get devoured. I'm not sure how that would work, like the logistics of it. But what we know is the logistics, the finances now in a bit of a rough position. Love that boost up. But Luca, smoke in his eyes, can't quite make the most of it. However, because of the fact that they had that bonus round successful, Sharks at least do get an AWP and a couple of rifle/SMGs in play. So this isn't a gimme round for Bravos by any stretch, but they have a great opportunity to bounce right back in and make this one a difficult one. Pank gets tagged down behind the pillar. 37 HP remains, but Turtle, not overextending, decides to pull the plug.
Yeah, Bravos is kind of playing a little bit of a spread offense here. You know, they're definitely challenging a little bit towards A main, but also putting a lot of focus over here towards upper B, towards that B ramp position. Wood posted up, watching for anyone to give a peek over towards the ramp side. You see Leo and company maybe trying to push into that sunroom position here through dig and into that vent, but smoke will kind of deter that from going any further. Jota, though, not deter that. The ramp side gets one, but Luca quick to respond.
Yeah, quick to get right back in. 50 seconds left, but the T's starting to take a bit of control over B. And Anku was tagged at the start of the round. Does go down. Danoko nearly whiffs his chance. And now Reelson's trying to hide behind the smoke. With the 5-7, has now cleared. His days numbered, removed by Danoko, who continues to be impressive. J&T using his own smoke as a bit of sanctuary, but as soon as that clears, he's gone. They actually tag him through there. That alerts him to the presence, and the rest is history. So where Sharks did have enough for the buy in the previous round, that's no longer the case.
Very true. It is going to be pretty much USPs only against the fully bought up Bravos, who have been able to really keep their composure after a slow start, getting shot down to 0-3. You know, Sharks obviously doing well winning that bonus round, but Bravos winning a big eco of their own, and now they're starting to capitalize on the superior economy that they have built off of that. And be a big stack over towards the donut here from the Sharks. Do you think Sharks would like a donut?
I think they'll eat anything, mate, to be honest. Depends on
Yeah,
the Shark, I suppose.
No, I think you're probably spot on with. Maybe it'd have to be like a bloody donut, though. I don't know if they're just down for like normal donuts. Hard to ask a Shark, really. Probably some type of experiment that would get barred by PETA or something along those lines.
I almost bet that someone's tried it, though, you know, at some stage. It must be.
I don't know how you would get the opportunity. I feel like, you know, if you spot a shark, you're probably just getting out the water and not thinking of feeding the shark.
True, but like chum in the water, then maybe try and throw one off a boat.
Ah, yeah. But that's just fish guts, isn't it, though?
Yeah, but then you switch to the donut, see if it's interested.
You know, funnily enough, I do know that bass, I don't know if you know bass, apparently you can catch them with soap, like pieces of soap.
Say what? Soap?
Yeah, like bar soap.
Oh.
I've heard that you can like put like a little piece of barred soap on a hook and throw it out there. And I guess the smell is just so pungent that fish get interested and they'll bite it.
Today I
Could
learned.
be a Yeah, it could be like an urban legend or something like that for all I know, like snipe hunting, but that's always been, I don't know if that's like a thing in Europe, but in America, snipe hunting was a meme.
Ooh, okay. I mean, it's an
Eco
eco ace,
ace.
but still nice spray transfer or spray control from Joda.
Yeah, sure. Just gifted an ace there. He's loving that. And here we go. We're all square.
However, with full USPs, you can't get too carried away, but it does mean that we have a buy on the horizon. Sharks not able to muster up an AWP. We know how potent Zevi is with that gun, although it was Luca that was using it early on in the half, well, the round, I should say, which is interesting. See if that continues to be the case. Good Molotov allows middle control, though, as Sharks look to pivot in. 2 players strong, pushing behind that.
Yeah, looks like CT's looking to get aggressive here. A little pop flash push into Jota, but he's able to kind of just step back, absorb this pressure. Now he may even re-peek, and look at what he is gaining out of this. Luca is at least quick to trade, but still for the teams who now have full control of the site, but they do not have the bomb, and now they're getting shut down.
Well, it's exquisite work from Zevi on that M4A4, just putting every bullet towards the head and finishing off. Wood misses the shot, punished. A good counteractive play as the Sharks only lose 1 player, and they're also capable of trading up one of the AWPs.
Thought that's like a big one for Sharks. I mean, they were kind of falling a little bit in that round early on. Their mid-aggression kind of flopped. They got a little bit punished even on their way out. B site got taken. You're starting to fear the worst for the Sharks, but despite this opener from Joda, is quickly dealt with by Luca, and then the hold on B side was damn near perfect. So we are going to get into round number 8. A little bit of B early pressure here from Bravos, but taking a lot of damage, Vince.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, ramp and sort of lower and cat are always these hot spots and hotbeds of a lot of ordnance. You're going to have HEs, and you can see the mollies right now. So typically these bottlenecks don't fare too well for the T's, but if they can bypass them and get the first pick on towards Cave or the Ruins, then you're in pretty good shape. Looking to try and toy with that idea. The smoke is going to be clearing momentarily, and both Luca and Pank in the corner playing cheeky.
Yeah, this looks like it's going to be a very deadly defense to break if they do decide to test the waters of that dig position towards Sunroom. Flash does come in. They do swing. They spot both players, but Luca able to get the kill. They're able to smoke their way out of the situation. No trade capabilities, and now Bravo's having the pivot into middle. A man behind, trying to see if they can maybe make some headway into Donut. They do capture that, but as far as making more progress to the site, that's going to be tough with this op in position.
Ooh, that looked pretty close to being nailed on. Unfortunate for Zevi, may have moved just before he pulled the trigger, and now JNT, the call would have come. The 2 players were pushing from Donut, but he still gets caught, and now reels in with a spray alongside Luca. The trap has been sprung, and Bravos are caught. Wood with the AWP in a pretty awful position, considering where the bomb is dropped down. It's going to be very hard for him to get anything done. I wouldn't be surprised on low funds if he maybe doesn't just try and hold on to this.
Sure. Does seem like it makes a lot of sense.
With 15 seconds, that's like, how do you possibly craft a clutch from this point? You can't. So he's going to hold on to the AWP instead. This makes sense.
Yes. It is logical, as Spock would say.
Counter-terrorists win.
And they can buy around this as well, having a look at the rest of the money. So definitely a wise decision.
Indeed. So a little bit of a back and forth affair these last few rounds here as Sharks is starting to get the defense fine-tuned. Able to, do some dynamic things. They've been able to get a little bit of, forward presence now on B side. They had that A side locked down with Zevi's AWP. Maybe Zevi even decides to take some different angles. It's like mid-aggression's on the ticket this time around, and there's no presence here, so CTs will take it.
Has been taken already, as you say, and a bit of damage also inflicted across the Bravos, not for the first time. 2 players up on ramp, trying a slightly different variation of the same idea, but that smoke timing could not have been sweeter. It keeps them at bay down on ramp.
And Joda's still playing back over towards T-spawn. Bomb is still down in that area. They have not committed it towards the B side of the map. Maybe just trying to throw a bit of a feint as they then capture some later mid-control. And you can see that Sharks have kind of felt that pressure and decided to kind of retreat and play a bit more standard. They're reinforcing their B-side defense, and they're correct to do so, because that is where the teams are approaching. They're trying to come in. They don't check this corner, though, and Luca makes them pay.
Oh, Yeah, these vents are so difficult to contend with. Denoco, though, is continuing to grind through the frags, but Zevi, point-blank range, puts his AWP to use. And the weakened Denoco is sent packing. Now, at least they have control over the bomb in the hands of Jota, who's up on 15 frags. Sure, 5 of those were eco frags and an eco ace. But he's been playing well so far. With 40 seconds, though, do they have enough time to feasibly go in for this flank? They would, but because they have such a lack of control over the map, they're not sure if they're being flanked.
Exactly. For all they know, there could be a CT in middle right now, cutting off their fallback through Cat back into middle. So they're just trying to see if maybe they could force something through here on B side, but they are running out of time. It is throwing some doubt, though. You can see JNT is a little bit concerned and is fighting off.
Exactly. Why they're holding on to their positions. And even though Joda wasn't fragged, it's keeping them in awkward positions. Zevi gets caught, though, out in the middle of nowhere with the AWP. Out of position and punished as a result, but Realzin is coming through as the hero. Jota has to pull off a miracle, and instead, Realzin makes him disappear. That'll be 6-3. I thought Zevi's getting caught out of position there was actually a golden ticket back in.
Well, it was a ticket to get the bomb down and get him into a, manageable 2-on-2 post plan situation. But when that bomb is being committed, all of a sudden it does temporarily become a 2 versus 1 for Sharks, and they were able to capitalize. Real coming out with a double kill to kind of save the day after Zevi's fall here in awkward space. Good thought from Bravos to slow down and kind of force some, doubt into the opposition to maybe fall off of that B stack. And it did give them a bit of a window, but just a little inefficient on the trading on site. And now, got to do more with less fence. And Zevi getting aggressive here over towards Donut, able to find a big early pick towards middle. And so Sharks are really starting to establish themselves on the CT side, Vince. Kind of the favorite side for the map so far in what competitive play we have seen. So not a surprise, but nonetheless, Sharks taking care of business.
It is a map similar to, the overpasses out there that the CTs can play aggressive on. So if Bravo's going to continue to be aggressive on the CT side, it is a possibility. But I wonder, when you label yourself as like the most aggressive team in South America, Sharks surely know that's the case as well. And these are things that will be expected and anticipated. For the time being, though, as you say, bit of authority now is being established as the Sharks looking to try and pull away with this one, although they have lost a player, instantly counteracted by Zevi's AWP, who moves on to 14 frags, so he's having another good performance. And Turtle, with a lowly SMG by his side, walks out, and he will be slim pickings for JNT on that secondary AWP. So Sharks once again bypass the round, and it's an awkward economy for Bravos. Like, do they buy?
Yes.
Do they save? Like, it's hard to tell.
Yeah, it is definitely one of those situations where they have just enough to maybe go like Galil's and armor if they really wanted to go for it, but it's also the option to just go lighter, go Tech 9. You can get a full buy in the next round, maybe still pose a threat this round if you can get up close with those Tech 9. So I think that's the right call. It's the more middle-of-the-road approach, and it's the one that seems fitting for the situation. And to kind of go back to what you were talking about, I think it also comes down to the fact that Sharks have lost to this team twice on Ancient in the last couple of months, and that means you can go back and look at that film and see what went wrong, whereas if you're Bravos, I mean, what is it to you, right? It's like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And I think it's a little bit harder to know what to change, as they are getting run through the blender here, Vince. But actually fighting back a decent bit.
Yeah, I love the idea. I just think the timing was a little bit off. And Zevi's missed a lot of bullets, and he's going to get punished. That's an AWP that now trades hands, and he barely did any damage. But there's the second AWP from JNT before he gets splattered by the Tech 9. Realzin up against Leo Monster. Now, Realzin's position not really known. He hasn't bagged any frags so far, but he walks into the crosshair of Leo Monster. And it felt like they just timed that aggressive play the wrong moment against a half-buy, where that's kind of what Bravos want.
Yeah, and I also just feel like Zevi missed a couple of sitters there. And I'm not going to harp on it too much because he has had a good game overall. He's 15-8 in the 11 rounds that we played already. It's just one of those situations where you got stuck in close quarters, and when you miss and the Tech 9 gets in your face, there's just really not a whole lot you're going to be able to do. And so that did open up a little bit of a pathway for Bravos to get back into it. And that's 2 rounds now that's in this game, out of the 4 that they have captured. That's been off the back of like these really low buys. And so, I mean, this could have been a way more dominant half for Sharks if they could have kind of avoided those traps.
Questionable aggression again from Pank, and he's been punished for a second time in a row. That puts more pressure on Luca and the rest of the troops, and Turtle removes his head. That is B site now trading firmly in hands of Bravos. JNT is being aggressive. The bomb's actually over here on the other side of the map, so this round may not be over just yet. But Denoco's put a swift end to the kill streak of JNT, which really stays on 1. Zevi in position, but shot off. And with that information, Bravos decide to take the bomb and traverse across to B. So this round feels like it's pretty much a done deal.
Yeah, they're moving cautiously, though, because they're not 100% sure that Sharks hasn't maybe pushed middle. And so they're trying to bring it safely through T-spawn and through Ranch so they know that it's covered, as Wood does have this angle through Cat. And so, yeah, now it's pretty much a formality, as you were kind of alluding to. Should be a 5th round for Bravos. So they will bring that bomb into position. And maybe even a chance for Joda to clean up a couple of saving CTs in this donut area, depending on how adventurous he wants to get. Though he is just kind of holding the main position for now. And also, just to kind of give a little bit of added info, when these two teams have played Ancient in the past, their last meeting, Bravos won 16-9, but they started on the CT side with 9 rounds and wound up winning Pistol on their T side in the second half and pretty quickly got the 7 rounds they needed to get the victory there. And then their first meeting on Ancient, back in August, that was a game that went into overtime, and both halves were 8-7. So it's a lot tighter that time around. The map has changed a bit since then, of course. A couple of adjustments Valve made in the most recent patch with the Operation Riptide. But just a little context on how these two teams have fared against one another when they've met on this map. Again, Bravos winning both those games, but Sharks ahead, but that lead is starting to fade.
Precisely, and I mean, really, this is off the back of an aggressive round that backfired. Zevi missing a couple too many shots, and another day you're looking at potentially a 9-3 scoreline. So it goes to show how quickly things can turn around for the CTs. This round, able to save both of their orbs. That's great news. Gives them firepower, but Bravos are firmly in the ascendancy here. And if they can win this round, I mean, Sharks are then eyeing up another potential 8-7, as you said. Maybe history will repeat itself.
Yeah, this is do or die with these ops, and Zevi able to strike gold on his first attempt. Quickly traded, though, by Turtle, but maybe that op can get shuffled over. Yeah, Luca able to pick it up, so they will at least be able to keep it in play. JNT playing aggro over towards Donut, looking for an angle on an ET that decides to swing in from mid-side, and 2 of them are chancing it, and JNT able to deliver, able to fade back as well, Vince, to safety, and may even have a crack at another.
Oh, I love the idea to stick around, and he also knew that his back was being aggressed on, but Luca has him covered. Oh, and another kill. These 2 orbs have gone above and beyond. They've absolutely shredded this round for Bravos.
They have a response from Sharks finally on a crafty round where they have to get a bit creative due to low firepower, and they're able to kind of keep that op juggled around even after Zephy's death. And yeah, now they have a 3 versus 2 retake attempt here, or 3 versus 1 rather. It's just Turtle. He will get the plant on B, but Pank's now picked up an AK. And so there's a chance for them in the retake here. They don't have a kit, but they have time.
This is very winnable, though, because they're all going to be clumped up together, and this is going to neutralize both of these AWPers. They need this AK to work, and it won't. Turtle sprays them down, and that was my concern. When you stack up, when none of the 3 players have Kevlar, 2 AWPs right next to each other, it will always have the ability for the AK to just rip and tear through all 3 of them. And that's a round that Sharks will be so disappointed, because they actually worked so well for the first 3 quarters of it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of head scratchers there. One, why are you not dropping one of those ops and picking up a rifle when you know that you're in a retake situation like that? And then secondly, why would you clump up and give him the one chance to win? It just seems like that wasn't a really well thought out retake as far as what weaponry decided to bring to the table and how they decided to approach it as far as just moving together. I get you want to be together because you don't want to give a bunch of 1v1s, but there is a fine line between, you know, spreading yourself too thin and making sure that you're not a lineup for somebody, you know what I mean?
No, exactly. I almost expected one of the players to jump across and try and bait out the shots and the other 2 to just wide swing, but it didn't happen. That's in the past, though, and the here and now. Bravos have the advantage again. Sharks have lost 2 players to only Leo Monster, and already Sunroom has been vacated and now attained from Bravos, so they are breathing down the necks of Sharks.
Indeed, they are. Big advantage here. A lot of map control, as they are already in Sunroom as well as up middle. CTs still have a bit of a crossfire established on that B site. Now they're attacking into CT spawn. Zevi, though, able to catch one. But Denoco able to find JNT. Now A side is wide open, so they can swing that bomb back around through T spawn. They will have A. They'll have a 3-on-2 post plant. And again, man, I feel like Sharks are just fumbling so many situations. It's nothing against Bravos. They're playing as well as they could hope for, but I mean, just think about how many chances Sharks have foiled. They lost 2 anti-ecos essentially, and they also just blew a 3-on-1 in the previous round. This is, I don't know. It's just seems like they're so close to having a dominant half, and instead they've allowed Bravos back in to tie this game up. Now 7 apiece.
Yeah, and it's very reminiscent to me of yesterday's performance against MIBR, where this happened multiple times as well. And Pank was talking about this in this post-game interview, where he said that they were maybe a bit too passive in some situations, and it feels to me that maybe they're overcorrecting. Maybe that's still in the back of their mind, and it goes in for some of these aggressive peaks where they're just trying to brute force their way in. And sometimes you need a bit of finesse. You need to have that delicate touch.
I think Pank also kind of mentioned in the interview yesterday a little bit of a lack of having the proper timing with their utility when they were going for little maneuvers. Not having the flashes land at the right time, not just being on the same page with how they move together. And I feel like you are seeing some of that in some of these situations that they've kind of dropped the ball on. Again, though, credit where credit's due. Bravo's playing well. Jodas had a hell of a game at 17 kills, near 120 ADR. So he's definitely been a highlight of this team. And a couple of other players have had their moments too, creating openings when they've needed to. And now we go into the final round of the half, and there's a chance that Bravos may capture it despite being down at 1.30. And again, Sharks have had plenty of chances to take a big lead. I think they were up 7-4 at one point.
Yeah, they were. In fact, I think it was 7-3 as well.
Possible, yeah.
And that's when things started to go a little bit pear-shaped. Flash up and over, looking to try and peek up ramp. That smoke is about to clear out. And Pank's had a rough time of it over here on B side. He's been picked off multiple times on the ramp side. So he's going to start to back away. They're playing a little bit more of a passive defense, which I'm definitely on board with, but losing the first player again, and it's Pank that repeaks. Pank walks out, gets punished, and that's going to be his teammate being fragged down as well. Turtle on 1 HP gets finished off through the smoke, but the damage has already been done. Another great opportunity for Bravos to take yet another T round.
Yeah, this is looking pretty much done and dusted here. Going to be a very tough retake at this point, just 2. So Sharks, a team that has a decent win rate on Ancient in their own right, not able to bring it out here today, once again falling behind their opponents of Bravos on the map of Ancient. Again, there were definitely moments early on, Vince, where you felt like they were off to a hot start. And even when Bravos started to make a bit of a comeback, Sharks held it off pretty well in the middle of the half, and again, built up a pretty substantial lead. But again, losing a couple of anti-ecos, missing out on a chance on one of their own eco victories off the back of losing a 3 versus 1 on the B side. It all adds up, and it really helps Bravos along.
Yeah, I don't think there can be any doubt that going into that second half, Sharks will be very disappointed that they weren't able to do better. Started 3-3, as you can see now on the highlights, and then Sharks started to take away with it. They got a 7-4 lead at one stage. Then the anti-ecos came in, then a few blunders here and there started to come to the forefront. And ultimately, it will end 8-7 in favor of Bravo. So we're going to cut to a quick break. When you rejoin us, we'll be live for half number 2. Welcome back, ladies and gents. We are about ready to jump and delve into our second half of our first map. Upper bracket finals, best of 3, as you can see on the top of this exquisite HUD. And the winner of this game will go through to the grand finals, which will be later on in the week, on the weekend, with a 1-0 lead in a weighted best of 5. So plenty up for debate, up for grabs for these two teams. Bravos do lead the half at 8-7, quite surprisingly considering that it took them to win the last 5 rounds in a row to get to this point. And Sharks will be pretty disappointed that they let things get into this shape, but they can, of course, make amends. Second pistol already off to an aggressive start from the Sharks. Denoco using the temple as a bit of sanctuary, trying to buy up a little bit of reprieve with his USP, but he's already falling back. He is playing alone. He just needs to survive. Even if he pulled the plug and killed nobody but survived, that would have been good enough. A frag on top of it is a fantastic start for Bravos and puts them in the best stead to actually regain the site. Smoke is cleared and Pank is fragged from the back. And Leo Monster may not be done there. He is looking to try and rinse and repeat and take a few more heads. Turtle comes in though, quick fire. Moving out into the open now, the CT. So Rielson takes off 2 headshots. He could be in for more. He doesn't quite pull the trigger on the third player. So Leo punishes him. And this is really why Denoco's positioning was so important for that frag and the fadeaway. It allows his team to go in for the retake. They take the second pistol and lead 9-7.
Big victory there for Bravos, Vince. Picking up where they left off, building off of that momentum from their comeback in the first half. You know, their map pick was starting to look a little bit scary, but now it seems like the course has been wrought. But Sharks wasting no time purchasing up what they can, but also rifles were spared here for Bravos. 4 M4s coming into the second round.
Oh yes, they want to get aggressive here. And they know that Sharks will be going in for a force. And that would be the correct decision. And correct read. 1-for-1 trade. Typically, you'd probably say favors a tease, but because they've gone for firepower over utility, not the case. And, well, if it wasn't the case before, it certainly isn't now. Leo Monster puts the bullet into the brain of another Shark and gives Bravos the player advantage.
Indeed it does. Now they know what they're up against, and while they did take a couple of licks along the way to discover it, they're good to go, and that's big. Leo is low on health, just 1 HP, still gets the headshot on Rielson. Denoco also pitching in. Now it's just JNT, has a Galil to his name. It has some time, but the little 1-2 punch set up there on the site for Bravos will put them up to 10-7. And now economy has been drained for the Sharks. They're now flopping around in the sand vents. They're on shore.
Certainly been beached, yeah. There's no two ways about it. And maybe they can try and dig themselves out of that, get back into the ocean again with these Deagles. But it's not looking great. We have seen a couple of really amazing shots with the Deagles over the last couple of days from the Sharks, of course. So I'm not going to be 100% sure this is going to end in an L. But those grenades early on funnels away Luca with the Molotov. And Turtle is doing what he can. Typically pray for the Sharks. But this time, the Hunters become the hunted. And a 4-round lead opens up. But Sharks will be coming straight back in with a bye.
Yeah, it's time to get it going if you're Sharks, man. I mean, you definitely were out in front. You seem to be building up a nice match for yourself, and now that is long gone. That is a distant memory as Bravos now, like you said, firmly in control of this game, up 4 rounds. You know, CT side, the more favored side as well, so that's a great place to be with the lead already there for you. It's like we're going to see them leave A completely open. They're going to go for a 4-man B play and just 1 middle. This is interesting stuff on the CT side.
Actually love this. You have 4-round advantage. I love going for a really risky play like this. And when you know that Sharks have AKs, what's the chance that they just decide to rush A? It's a fairly low percentage chance, right?
Oh, absolutely. Just generally, I feel like rushing A is a low percentage chance. It's just such tight corridors that it's really hard to have confidence to move quickly. I mean, particularly because you have to have middle to be able to get to Donut, which was being watched. So at that point, unless they just did a full-on A halls to A main push, which is just absurdly unlikely, yeah, it seems like that's actually a pretty safe aggressive play early in the round. Now they kind of fade back into something a bit more standard.
The thing is, though, that they did this to nade stack and try and carpet bomb outside of B on the B lower area. So they have a lack of utility now. No incendiaries, no HEs, and only one smoke with 50 seconds. So I love the idea, but they didn't really get much out of it. It's not even as if 2 of Sharks or more are actually weakened. Everyone's pretty much full HP.
I guess it is true that there's not a lot of T utility left, though, now, right? They just have that one smoke on JNT and a few flashes. They are able to battle their way, though, into Donut here. 1-for-1 trade. Going to continue to go back and forth that way as Turtle's trying to change things, but Zevi with a nice double there does get an advantage finally for the T's, but it's not short-lived, actually. Lucas topping Leo.
Woods had a pretty rough go of it so far. Haven't been blown away by his performances with the AWP. To be fair to him, he typically is kind of like last man standing and he can't really have much impact anyway. Good shot. And also trades up to the M4. I say up because it's going to have way more mobility. Run and gun style may be required to clutch this. Now, he doesn't have a kit either, so he'd love to try and go for that full defusal, but now they've drawn him off the side. He has no chance. He is walking into the T's, trying to do as much damage as possible, and actually, had he been slightly quicker on that reload, he could have took down Zevi as well. The round is over, that much is for sure, but maybe the bomb finishes off Zevi, who has managed to pull the plug and run back towards the middle area. So all things considered, taking 4 players with the bomb explosion is a pretty damn good takeout of that for Bravos.
Yeah, not bad at all considering the situation. I think that just the lack of tapping the bomb really never caused Sharks to want to peek, though. They just kind of kept staying back, knowing that he was not on the bomb. So I think that was kind of one thing that jeopardized his clutch attempt. But like you said, without a kit, it was going to be tough anyway. Needed those kills quickly, tried his damnedest, and got close, just not quite. That's a big move for Sharks to kind of at least keep them in contention. Both economies now fragile, Vent, so this round is worth its weight in gold. Quite literally.
Oh, no doubt. This is a huge moment in the game, and already Sharks have taken a whole chunk of damage. They have taken a bit of control for themselves over on Dig, however. So that is good news. They've cordoned off this area. Smoke has been deployed, so unlikely the CTs will try and get re-aggression through on this side of the map. So at least early information goes the way of Sharks. Early real estate, additionally, but it is at the cost of HP.
Very true. Zevi and Luca both severely softened up. Not even 100 HP between them combined. But look at this. Luca taking Dinoco down. That was a brilliant little spam to kind of get them out of the bind of having the health disadvantage. Not sure how he even really had a read on that. Maybe just taking a chance, swinging for the fences, and he knocks it out the park.
That is such a massive moment in this game, but Leo Monster has a great angle, and he puts the bullets to the chest, center mass frags, where the A1S has been buffed, and you see it in real time. Turtle removes the head of Reels in, and this round quickly gets out of control. They got the first pick, and then everything else worked against the Sharks.
Yeah, Sharks is in that situation where there's a line from Drake where, you know, you go 0 to 100 real quick. Well, that was 100 to 0 real quick. Everything was going their way early, get some good map control, get an opening pick, have man advantage, and then, welp, lights out. Bravo's now up 12-8. Economy in tatters for the Sharks. So just a few Deagles, a Tech-9 and a Glock. Very sparse utility. Great chance for Bravos to keep building up this lead.
Great incendiaries as well. Forcing out the smoke, but also keeping them from rushing down towards the dig area and taking middle control. Leo is now going to make the most of that. Frag goes his way, probably not anticipating a second player up there, and Luca does punish him as a result. AK trades hands. Luca does additionally have Kevlar, albeit low HP. Oh, and that spray from Jota could not have been better timed. Bomb spilled down, and although Luca has bagged himself a second frag, it feels like a drop in the ocean for Sharks. He is going to throw away some of these extra rifles, though, which obviously is going to bypass any of those AKs being picked up. But Bravos are in a very good position right now, and they're feeling pretty comfortable about this round.
And they have 3 guns anyway, so while it's a smart play to get rid of weapons, there's really nothing they could really want anyway, so just kind of holding firm. See Luca trying to make a miracle happen here as he's attacking through top middle over towards defensive spawn. Dinoco, though, certainly has heard all this and is trained on that position. There is a world where maybe he can get into A site without being spotted, but getting that bomb and getting back on the site for the plant, whole different story with only 25 seconds left.
Yeah, I think that's precisely why he's just playing this aggression. You know, he's gambling. It's like, I'm probably going to die anyway. Might as well try and get a bit of control. Maybe squeak a bomb plant out of this. I tell you what, if Bravos allow him to plant and relocate, this is
That's
a massive
wild.
error on their side. This should never be happening.
It is.
And now this is a winnable round. He doesn't win it, but like the fact he's able to get the bomb and a post plant and also relocate, to me, is madness.
Yeah, it's like they knew they had the bomb down. Dinoco knew that he was kind of attacking towards defensive spawn. Why is Jada all the way on B site?
Counter-terrorists win.
There's no physical way, unless he just thought he was going to save there and he was going to try to chase down the save. I guess that's maybe one thought that he had. Either way, yeah, it is pretty crazy that he's able to sneak in behind enemy lines and pull off a plant in a 1 versus 3. It's going to add to their economy pretty nicely. They get a full AK buy, full utility, you know, all the armor that they could want. So that does give them a little bit more of a wallet behind their punch in this round. Makes it a little bit harder on Bravos. But still, to be fair, they do have a pretty substantial lead. They have shown no signs of slowing down.
Yeah, you talked about this before, you know, in the first half. Oh, that Molotov actually extends and nearly kills Pank.
Correct.
Down to 24 just off 2 mollies. But you said
Almost
that their
became a
CT
pancake.
side has typically got them like 9 rounds, right? So this is normally one of their better halves.
Yeah, I kind of just wasted that joke, unfortunately. Didn't even hear it probably, did you, Vince?
Nope.
Unlucky. Maybe a viewer heard it, had a little giggle.
I'm sure it was great, Dust. I'm sure you nailed it.
Thanks, man. Would you like to hear it or no?
Go
Should we
on.
just let it die?
Well, it's
Like he was in the fire, and I said Pank was becoming a pancake.
nice. Nice one.
Yeah.
There you go.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Worked hard on it. Didn't, of course, but... Speaking of working hard, though, Bravos has been really chipping away at this game now. Really leapfrogging Sharks, who had, again, their chances in the first half to have a substantial lead coming into this T side, and they have kind of just faltered, and it's just been full-on Bravos just being creative on the CT side, being aggressive, and living up to what they noted would happen in the interview. We're going to see what Sharks can do in the late round here on this B execute.
In come the bodies of Sharks, but it's preordained. It's telegraphed, and that's why they're taking so much damage and casualties through the smokes. Now, they do at least brute force their way into a post plant, and Leo Monster nearly gets picked off through the smoke himself. He needs to tread lightly. And now the incendiary is being put into position, just cordoning off these areas. In a 3v5 on this kind of a site, you do kind of need to take the initiative and go for some frags, but instantly down to a 1-on-1. How have Sharks nearly pulled this one off? But he pulls the clock out and survives. He gets tagged down to 16, stands his ground, and somehow Sharks come out of that with a win.
Hey, Vince.
Yo.
Did JNT just, in a 1v1 run out of ammo, pull out a Glock, do a 360, and win the round?
He
Did
did.
that happen?
It did.
I think without the replay, I wouldn't have believed it. But the fact that you've confirmed it to me, and I've now seen it twice with my own eyes, yeah, I guess I have to accept that as reality. What world are we living in? Surely, Anders was correct. This is simulation.
Oh. JNT. All right. Now, this is a little bit of deja vu from the first half, where Sharks constantly let these round leads slip out of their fingers. Now, hold on. Hold the phone for a second. Dinoco may not be done with this one. He's running out of ammunition, though, but he needs to put the bullets to range and take down Luca. 3 kills single-handedly from Sunroom has now put this down into a 2 versus 2. It was looking like Sharks would run away with this one, and now Wood, who was trying to flank, just gets completely smacked down and clobbered by Reelzin's AK. Jota, who's had a great game thus far, is last man standing.
May back off even. Only $100 left to his name. Low money for the whole team. Saving this op would be vital, and so yes, he will concede. And they say American football is a game that's played in inches. Well, Counter-Strike's a game of milliseconds, and the timing of Reelzin picking up on that flank through B ramp was insane. Because it looked like Wood was about to get the jump on him there and be able to make that retake happen, and instead Reelzin catches him, and that shuts it down, and now even the op is not going to be saved, and so Bravos will have to take themselves into a round with just USPs for the most part. Big opening pick there from JNT. Kind of the alpha and omega of the round. He opens and closes the door. Puts him to 10, Just 3 away from tying this thing up and should be getting a freebie here, Vince. Though somehow Rielson has taken 13 hit points.
Yeah, he got left clicked at spawn, unfortunately.
Why has they done that?
Just a classic.
Meme? Yeah.
Yeah, this is all off the
Little bit
back of that engage where the 360 Glock frag, man. Just comes from there, doesn't it? They've equalized the
It was
economy.
JNT as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's just crazy. It's absolute madness.
That might be the most wild thing I've seen in quite some time in Counter-Strike, to see a 1v1 that way.
And it was like I want to say it was like a 3v5, right? Like post plant or something like that. They were definitely
Yes.
behind in men.
Absolutely. Not enough men on the dance floor, Vince.
Unfortunately not.
No. Please tell me you understood that.
I feel like it's a song reference, but I don't know which one.
Flight of the Conchords.
Okay.
But it's a different expression, which I cannot say on stream. Too many is something on the dance floor that has to do with men. I'm sure you can figure it out. As we see this round go by the wayside, as we kind of expected. A free A site was taken by Sharks. They will get the victory. Lose it to 11-13. And so all of a sudden, Vince, it seemed there for a while that Bravo's victory may have been a foregone conclusion, but Sharks still has some fight left in them. And they do a flawless victory, so economy starts to get built up for the long haul of the rest of this half. And I mean, if they win this, money is low yet again for Bravos. That's a big opportunity for a tie game at 13 apiece. And Vince, I'm going to go ahead and say it. You know what time it's going to be for us. I'm feeling some overtime, Vince. I've looked into the crystal ball, and the overtime vibes, they're flowing.
Yeah, it does. It definitely does have that kind of feel to it right now, because it's been neck and neck, and both teams have struggled to get across the finish line and really be ruthless and efficient, I would say. Like, they both had these spikes in power level. They've both had these abilities to close rounds out, and sometimes even against the run of play. But when they have their heads in the front, they seem to just like let it slide a little bit too much.
So would you say that no one's power level has exceeded 9,000? Is that what you're getting at?
I don't know that reference, but sure. I've heard it, obviously, but I don't know where it's from. I don't know what it actually means.
It's all right. I'll let this one slide. So to see Sharks trying to slither into the DMs of Bravos' defense here. Getting into top mid, attacking, getting to pick on the turtle in CT spawn and opening up the floodgates.
Oh, that's the bomb.
Yikes. Yep.
That's the bomb, and Zevi's low HP. And again, Sharks have just run into the blender for no reason. I can understand they wanted to get aggressive, but they still had a minute to play with when all those bodies hit the floor. And now JNT is the only healthy member left. They need Zevi to just have an unbelievable round. Good first shot. Leo gets a bit too aggressive, overextends, gets punished, and snatched away. Zevi with yet another one. This man is unrelenting. And now they can get their hands on the bomb. They must realize that Denoco very likely is on site, and now those bullets that have just whizzed past their head will guarantee that intel. So they're making a beeline for the B site, and they will have a post plant on top of it.
Indeed they will. Denoco, though, has moved very swiftly to catwalk, so we got there really fast and may catch a timing on JNT. Oh, never mind. He's been spotted, and that's it. So Sharks, despite looking like they were kind of flopping around there, able to get back into the water and get things going. Zevi, huge plays with the op, near 30 frags yet again in this tournament in a map. Definitely has been one of the star players for Sharks for quite some time. Big moment there from him. I think he spotted the barrel of a player, which kind of helped him along the way. If I'm not mistaken, that Silence Cult does stick out a little bit extra. So it gave him a little bit of intel to kind of play out that situation. But here's that, kind of moment that we were talking that may be on the horizon, and now it's here in front of us. It's the low econ Bravos and a chance for Sharks to tie things up.
These have typically been the rounds where both teams have seemingly struggled to actually convert. Now, there's a lot of aggression from Bravos. They're already towards T-spawn, couple players strong, also making moves through on Donut, and additionally, Denoco's coming through on the CT side, so they're going to be able to clinch in very shortly and try and constrict Sharks, but it will be a post plant, and considering there's still Molotovs, there's still HEs on the utility belt, and good positioning as well, looking bad. Lucas cleared out Denoco. And I love the idea from Bravos to get aggressive. That's exactly what Jamp was talking to us about on the pre-game interview, that they are a very aggressive team, but it still was asking so much when you have such a discrepancy in terms of firepower, and it's kind of gone the way we expected.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. You can definitely tell that Sharks have like drilled some of these set pieces though, like just some of their utility coverage on the A side, how they layer their nades and molotovs on top of just having the smokes down that you would want for Temple and Elbow. So you can definitely tell that they've put in the preparations as far as how they want to attack these sites. There's just been a couple of like little hiccups here and there along the way in efficiency that have kind of cost them dearly. But now at the home stretch, they are starting to dig deep and figure things out. And they've now squared us up at 13 apiece. And now it's anyone's game at this point. Certainly Sharks with the advantage when it just comes to pure economy. They can buy pretty much the rest of the game no matter what happens, Vince. Meanwhile, Bravos, if they lose this, they're right back to maybe even having to concede map point just to save up money for what could be the final round of the game. So they're going to have some tough choices to make if this round doesn't go their way.
Especially considering this is Bravos' pick. They wanted Ancient. They wanted to change the map pool as they were talking about. They had got hammered on Nuke the last time these two teams played each other. It's just their decision. Vertigo up next.
Yep. And of course, again, remember, Bravos has beaten Sharks both times they have played each other recently on this map, so they have history on their side, but starting to slip here at the end.
Oh.
I mean, Turtle was ruined, wasn't he? There was, what could he do?
He needed his teammates to stand tall for him, and lucky for JNT, he had to take the shot. Definitely not his fault. Luca ran in front of him. Will be a post.
No one's fault really on that one. It's one of those TKs that you just have to kind of accept is going to happen.
Exactly. If he doesn't pull a trigger, they both die. So better to ensure the frag. Zevi, the easiest of kills, but he's about to get sideswiped by Denoco, who always just seems to be in those little difficult angles to contend with. Will be tickling the bomb, not perfectly planted for both of these players. Trades the first. No, he doesn't. JNT actually on 20 HP holds his ground. And Bravos are now back into such a bad position economically, but also the bigger picture of this map.
They're sending it, Vince. Right here, right now. They're buying up the M4s right away. If this does not work, they will have to... I mean, I don't know how they're going to be forced buying the rest of the game if this doesn't work, Vince. I mean, this is kind of do or die for them, honestly. If this falters, and even this isn't ideal. They have a guy on an MP9 and one guy on a Deagle, so it's not even a full buy. So, yeah, this is really do or die for them. They're going to try to get a little bit of assertive out here in middle to try to change things up.
Zevi already bypassing that smoke down middle with two extra players, one of which is Lucas. A slight gap over. Oh, but he falls off.
That was looking promising, Vince. I was getting excited. But to no avail. Instead, mid-control conceded. Luca will take it all the way. Looking to maybe even threaten defensive spawn. Jota certainly aware of that potential. Does fade back to kind of keep an eye on things. CTs have good positioning, but now they have to do more with less bodies, and now they're just getting swiped.
Denoco's 1-for-1 will not be good enough. Turtle stuck on the site, needs desperately to have a hero play. And he did get one, but that will not be enough to dig Leo Monster out of a very rough position. And judging by their economy, I wouldn't hold it against him if he just saved, and he seems to have the same idea. It gives them a kit, it gives them an M4 and a bit of Kevlar, but overall the picture is very bleak for Bravos. They will not be able to scrape together much of a buy behind that, and that will give Sharks two chances to break down the map of Bravos.
Yeah, I mean, this is the path they've been put on with this buy up that they chose to go for this round, as opposed to like maybe just getting upgraded pistols and going for some eco strat. They decided to get the M4s and put them in a spot where, you know, instead of having a round up next where they could maybe have all 5 rifles, they went for 3 rifles, a Deagle, and SMG. It fails, and now all they will have in the next round is this M4. And they're, you know, again, on that dangling carrot of force buying for the rest of the game. And that is tough. I mean, think of the roller coaster ride of a map this has been, Vince. I mean, Sharks look firmly out in front. They fade. Bravos, all of a sudden, they wound up with a big lead. They were up, I think, 12-4 at one point or something along those lines, something similar to that. And now it's been run all the way back up by Sharks, who are now on map point and could perhaps steal away Bravos' pick and beat Bravos for the first time on this map after suffering 2 losses earlier on in the last couple of months.
See the importance of saving that M4, allowed Leo to throw another one across. And with the A1Ss being that little bit more viable right now, they can actually scrape together a pretty damn good buy. That grenade, though, is going to finish off Leo Monster, so 1-for-1 trade, but Luca is heavily wounded in the process, and Jota's already snuck around the back. He's already made moves in, but Wood gets caught with an MP9 and fragged out. But a 2-on-2 falls upon the servers. Turtle did go in for a secondary frag. Such a weird chaotic round, and now Luca's stuck in a really awkward position. Jota nearly gets him in the back, but not quite.
Not quite. The bomb by itself, by the way, over on the A side of the map, it's one of those situations where Luca's kind of stranded. And I feel like JNT's a little bit kind of stuck in a tough place, and yeah, now he just gets figured out, and that's a big win for Bravo. It's like you said, they had a much better buy than I was kind of expecting. And they make it work, and now here we go. Will it be OT, or will it be 16-14? Another close game ahead of us here, no matter what the result is. But I did say this game had those OT vibes. I believe the score was like 11-13 in Bravo's favor when I said that. And well, maybe I am a soothsayer.
Yeah, it definitely made sense to make that call, as it's been neck and neck. Still a chance, though, for Sharks to put an end to this map in regulation. Pank already tagged on the periphery of the map, down to 59. They do have a little bit of construction control now via the lower area. And whereas Bravos have been very aggressive in these areas before with HE's mollies, this time they have pulled the plug, playing this one a lot more passively.
Yeah, they know how much weight is on this one, so they don't want to jump to anything too quickly. Definitely taking their time, as you said. We do see that Wood has a bit of presence over towards middle, I believe, over towards that jungle position. 3 players over towards B, trusting Dinoco to kind of just solo hold out A side. Utility being poured over towards B, and so the personnel gathers for Sharks. Looks like they do want to strike this site. Again, there's a pretty hefty defense in place to deal with it, though, so it's going to be a tough egg to crack. They do have time to pull the plug and pivot if they so choose, but it seems increasingly more and more apparent that they're committing. And this could be a problem for Wood's position.
Oh, but everybody on the site has been completely melted. And this flank is going to be nowhere near as powerful. And he gets caught in transition. Sharks looking for the 3rd time to get a 16-14 victory in IEM Fall. And Jota hiding in the smoke. Both players up close, but stuck on the wrong end of the fumes. We'll be clearing momentarily. Jota's given his position away. They'll be trying to draw away some fire, allowing Dinoco to come in. Good flash, though, keeps him at bay a bit longer. About half of the fuse is now came and gone. 4 players strong for Sharks. First player goes down, but there is the cleanup. They take the players back to back. 16-14 is going to be the score yet again for the Sharks.